Treasure to the Chronicles of Triple S, and this is a
endorphin synthesizer shuttle control.
Is it a solid state? Would they call it a solid state synthesizer, or?
I think it's more like it's a Buchla style synth, which is a kind of synth that was popular, I think, in the 70s.
Well, it was the first synth, wasn't it?
Oh, it's based off one of those first synthesizers, yeah. So it's all analog.
Wasn't the first synth... the first synth was like a room, and that's what they made the Doctor Who soundtrack with in the BBC.
Could be, yeah. I'm not sure.
I think I saw a documentary on the first synthesizers.
Oh, nice.
And the guy that made the Doctor Who soundtrack wanted to buy the first personal computer ever made. I don't know who it was by.
All right.
So he miniaturized his room full of synthesizers into something that was like this big, and he had to sell 5 of them so he could afford to buy the first personal computer, so he could then go and make the first computer music.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, sound scoring has always been a really big use case for synthesizers.
Well, that's how I did that movie, Black Ghost.
Oh, cool.
A lot of it.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Just like DSP synths on...
Most of it was actually made with one synth.
Cool.
Bass guitar. And then after...
The synth was called bass guitar?
Yeah, well, it's in Reason.
Oh, nice.
So...
I don't know that particular synth.
So Subtractor is the simplest synthesizer in Reason.
Yeah.
And one of the presets is bass guitar.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a bass wave.
Like a simple sine or...
Yeah, just a sine wave.
Sine wave. Yeah, sounds good.
And then from that, you can make whatever sound you want.
Yeah, I think this has a sine wave here. I think before we were... Oh, no, that was sine wave. It's being modulated with this synth. Yeah, so if I just turn that back to not sync and not FM, there's this sine wave.
Yeah, cool. What's your stage name?
Bitcoin DJ.
Bitcoin DJ.
Yeah.
And you play around the place?
Occasionally. I've only really had one event in Fremantle.
Yeah.
At the Ronnie Knights.
Cool.
Playing Ronnie Knights Flying Shoes, I think it was. Have you been there?
No.
Oh, it's a cool
I
bar.
have heard of it though. I'm actually a Freo boy, but I haven't been hanging around there.
Yeah, I'm
Freo
Freo boy too, but yeah, I haven't really lately been living in Fremantle.
Did you go to South Mountain High or?
No, actually, I went to what was called South Terrace. They changed it to Fremantle Primary.
Ah, yeah.
Back then, they had a vote, and like we voted no. And then after I left, I guess they voted yes.
Yeah. Well, they probably could have a vote every year, can't they? So.
Yeah.
So
change is a constant.
Cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
That's what we're here to talk about.
Sure. Yeah, that's my business card.
No.
So Bitcoin and
Leo Treasure.
Yeah, that's my name.
Tezos.
Yeah, Tezos or Tezos. I say Tezos.
Blockchain validator from moneyevery3days.com.
Yeah. So it's a business that I've recently started a few months ago. And I basically run a piece of software on my computer along with a few hundred other people around the world who are doing the same thing.
Yep.
And it's an open network, open source. And basically by running this program, we're helping to support the network to process transactions. And we
so is that mining?
Kind of like mining, but without all the expensive electricity bills.
Yeah. Yeah, because I heard there's a shortage of GPUs, like graphics cards, in the world because they're using them to mine Bitcoin and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, certainly in the past, but now that's changed. The Bitcoin mining's got more specialized, and the serious businesses are now using they're called ASICs, application-specific integrated circuit, and but people are still using GPUs to mine other coins like Ethereum and Monero.
What ones do you recommend? Ethereum?
Yeah, I mean Ethereum's definitely an interesting crypto to look at as an investment, and also it has a lot of interesting use cases. Of course, I'm not a financial person, and I can't really give any.
So not a financial advisor?
No, not yet.
No,
unfortunately.
You're an investor. You start off as an investor. When I met you, you're an investor. I'm like, fucking, this guy doesn't even work. He just invests. I was jealous.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, you've got to start somewhere, right? I started off in investing while I was working, and then I got fired pretty quickly after that. But by then I was really just interested in all these crypto opportunities.
Yeah.
I mean, back then it was completely different to now, but still high risk, and it's even today that hasn't changed. It's still there's a bit of risk,
volatility,
and a lot of volatility. Although, I mean, to some extent that's kind of died down a bit with the market maturing a bit more. There's more of a liquid market. There's more people. For example, Bitcoin's become a bit less volatile. It used to be way more volatile.
Yeah, I saw, was it 2 years ago, just before Christmas, it was peaking out at $22,000.
Yes, crazy times.
One of my friends is like, yeah, don't get into it right now because it's going to crash. It crashed the week he said it was going to crash.
Solid advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just hockey stick kind of, if you looked at the charts, that would have been a very scary time to be entering the market.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did for FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like the housing market.
Yeah.
I missed out on that one.
Yeah, me too. There's a lot of parallels there too.
Yeah.
I mean, with easy money kind of distorts the markets, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But Tezos, I mean, it's interesting.
So what is Tezos?
So it's basically a digital commonwealth, and their main kind of thing that they're working on are smart contracts.
Yep.
Which is basically automating contracts so that the parties in the contracts don't need to rely on a judge and a court system that's going to take weeks, months, years. Everything's agreed on at the start, and the contract is self-enforcing. So you might have a contract for insurance, for example, and if somebody doesn't make a payment to the contract by a certain date, then the funds will be dispersed to another party, for example. And you can also introduce a human element, like for example, if you're making a betting contract on say like the events of the weather, and you need the weather to like be reported by somebody that both parties trust.
Yep.
You can choose like this doesn't exist in Tezos right now with the Oracle, but I mean there are other.
Say the Scorcher's winning tomorrow.
Hmm.
Like that's a betting thing. Right?
Yeah.
You would go to Channel 9 and say, or Channel 7 and say whether the Scorcher's won or not.
Yeah, and they might have like an API on their website, like that says, like, we publish the results on our website on this day, and so you can get the result from there.
Maybe from their RSS feed or.
Sure, yeah, and I mean there are already a lot of different projects working on this kind of Oracle aspect, but what Tezos is kind of focusing on is not so much the Oracle part, but more about the smart contract part and making sure that that's really secure. Because what happened in like Ethereum, which they're also working on smart contracts, they had some pretty serious bugs go down. Like there was like $150 million in this contract, right? And this hacker came in and just worked out a way of siphoning off. He made off with like $50 million worth of Ethereum.
Really?
Yeah. And because in like the start of the project, it was called the DAO, Distributed Autonomous Organization, and the part of the thing was that the code is law. So technically the hacker, by exploiting the code, he didn't do anything wrong. I mean, from a technical perspective, he just worked out a way to make the contract work for him. But of course, like the whole community in Ethereum said this is wrong, we don't like it. He's taken 5% of the entire supply of Ethereum. We're just going to roll back transactions.
Yeah.
And so that's what they did, and the whole network split into two different Ethereums.
Was that the Ethereum Lite or
Classic?
Classic.
Yeah.
So the old Ethereum is Classic.
The one with the hackers coins is Classic.
Yeah.
And the one that everyone and the majority chose.
Did that die? Did it?
I don't think it died, but it just didn't see a lot of adoption. I mean, some major players supported it, and so it did kind of do okay, I think, in the end. But and then of course, I mean, it's a bit of a catastrophic event when a coin splits into two different versions. I mean, all of those.
I did hear about it when it happened, but I had no idea why it happened. I just thought they were making an Ethereum coin like a
bonus.
I do know that Bitcoin was only supposed to be fairly small, and now they've actually like broken it up into millionths of a Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's actually always been the case. It's always been able to be broken up into 100 millionths.
100 millionths.
Yeah, so 8 decimal places after the zero.
But eventually that will size out, won't it?
Well, actually, that is always. I mean, there's a possibility of breaking it up to even smaller fractions if that's required. I mean, if Bitcoin becomes worth several $1 trillion per each coin, and then
okay, so it has to be worth $1 million a Bitcoin to worth, because it's only 1 cent really. Is what you can break it down to, isn't it?
No, because it's 100 million
or fractions of a cent.
Fractions of 100 millionths. So we're used to thinking of cents as fractions of 100. Like 5 cents is 5 100ths. So like 100 millionth of a Bitcoin is going to be worth.
In my wallet, I can only have cents.
Well, it's not measured in terms of
or I can
cents.
have a fraction of a cent in my Bitcoin wallet, can I?
You can have fractions of Bitcoin, which you can have cents, like 0.01 Bitcoin, but you can also have millionths, 0.001 Bitcoin, and what's after millionths? I mean,
billions.
Yeah, so you can... Hang on, no, wait a sec.
Million, billion, trillion.
Yeah, but going the other way in like the fractions...
Yeah, still billionths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Because billionths?
No, sorry.
Or billions?
There's millions, billions. Yeah, but that's when you're getting larger. When you're going smaller, it's
still
like thousandths.
Well, you would be talking about micro.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
But you're still talking millionths and billionths of a cent.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'm actually talking millions, billions of a Bitcoin.
Yeah. It's still billions.
Yep. So at the moment,
the TH makes it less than 0 or less than 1.
Less than 1. But what I'm trying to say is the smallest fraction at the moment for a Bitcoin is 100 millionths.
Millionths.
Yeah. So 1 with 10 to the power of 8 zeros minus 1. I mean minus.
Okay, so say 100 millionths of a Bitcoin is worth 1 cent. You'd have to dial that back to a Bitcoin would have to be worth $1 million.
Yeah.
For that to be worth a cent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was just trying to.
Yeah, so you can imagine like if Bitcoin was worth a lot more than that.
Yeah.
A lot more than $1 million.
Yeah.
Then we would have the problem of needing to break down the fractions even more.
Yeah.
I mean that's really like far out speculation that it would have to be hugely successful and everybody would be like using that.
One of my mates is trying to tell me that they're going like the banks are getting together Ripple.
Oh yeah.
Tell me what you know about Ripple before I talk shit.
Well, I actually haven't been following it super closely, but I know that I have kind of followed it for a long time, but not just recently. I haven't really been. I'm not too interested in it.
No.
It's mostly because the distribution. Most of it, I think, is held by the company, the starting company, and
what I've been told is they're actually trying, like the big banks, will be using Ripple one day, and they're trying to get SEC approval for all that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's their vision.
Big American banks, I'm talking.
Well, I mean, you have to remember Ripple is just a company like a lot of other competing companies that are trying to see more businesses using their system.
Yeah.
And the banks may or may not use their system. I mean, the banks already have their systems, right? And they're probably quite happy with their systems.
Yes.
So he's selling them.
They're happy ripping everyone off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, Ripple I think they have been tried here in Australia, like by some of the banks, using it to try and get better currency prices when doing international. I've heard some of the banks using that, but I think it's more on a trial basis, and I don't actually. Yeah. I think recently they bought. I think they bought MoneyGram.
What's MoneyGram?
You know, like Western Union.
Yep.
Yeah. So MoneyGram's just a competitor to that. Yeah. And so that's pretty big news, right? I mean, cryptocurrency is partnering or has bought. I think that
sort of gives it legitimacy, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, people are going to have to use Ripple whether they know it or not if they're using MoneyGram.
Someone said that that the banks actually use a version of cryptocurrency between themselves.
Right.
Because this Kobayashi guy that started Bitcoin.
Oh, Satoshi Nakamoto.
Apparently he lived in Sydney, just down the road from I know it's all hearsay. One of the rumors.
You're not talking about Craig Wright now, are you?
I don't know, and I allegedly not going to say anything. But apparently he used to work. Whoever it was used to actually work for a bank, and this is where it came from.
All right. I mean, there's a lot of.
It's just a fucking rumor.
Yeah, there's so many rumors. And there's actually speculation that this guy Satoshi or girl, no. Anyway, speculation. Allegedly, this person who goes by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto could actually be in jail right now, and is going to be like free in like, I think in like 10 more years, and he's some huge mob boss guy, like, who's really smart at programming. Apparently his coding style matches Satoshi's quite closely, and he also had released this manifesto that read very similarly to Satoshi. But the guy in Sydney,
who's this guy's name? Allegedly?
Oh, I can't remember.
Who was the guy you just said?
The guy
Craig.
Craig, right? That's not him. That's the Sydney guy. And
okay.
he allegedly, and I'm going to have to use this word a lot here because he's allegedly quite litigious.
That's
he's
the guy I thought was actually could have been mates with Flux. Maybe.
I don't know of any connection there.
Okay.
But
it'd be nice if someone was smart with helping Flux out there.
Yeah.
The Flux Party is digital direct democracy. Everyone didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a noble cause, I think, that they're aiming for direct participation. I think.
Leo Treasure here sat for the Senate seat at the last federal election.
Yeah.
How'd you find that?
That was definitely an experience.
Had a couple of media goes.
Yeah.
Conferences.
We held the art. Melissa,
art exhibit.
Yeah, and that was good. I brought one of my synthesizers there. Showed it wasn't this one; it was a different one.
How many you got?
Many. Yeah, I've got like a whole wall rack.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like wall rack mounted.
Yeah.
I
understand what you mean. Yeah.
They're in wooden cases, but it kind of looks like a wall of this different modules. Each thing's up. Yeah.
Flux did very well at the state election. The last state election, we almost got one up in Mining and Pastoral in the Pilbara.
All right, cool.
We were 250 votes from getting a seat, actually.
Wow.
In the WA Upper House.
Oh, cool. That would have been great.
Yeah, we were all very excited that night. Oh well.
Next time.
The state is later on this year.
Oh yeah. March, I think.
October.
No, I think it's March. Well, I read just somewhere on the Discord group.
I thought March to May, somewhere like along the line, is where they're going to be having a test app.
Oh, cool.
And then later on this year, it's going to be I thought it was October.
You might be right. I haven't paid much attention, but I noticed recently.
If it was May, I'd be like start to freak out.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome, mate. I noticed in the Discord thing they've got they've already got a test voting kind of bot you can interact with and vote on.
Is that not the My Vote, but the I don't Discord.
Okay.
It's probably my biggest downfall in Flux is I just don't Discord.
Oh.
I'm not a gamer.
Yeah.
Every time I go onto Discord, I can't fucking use it anyway.
I find myself not using it for very long because I've got like maybe 30 channels on there.
Have you?
And I just, whenever I want to.
So you use Discord all the time?
No.
Huh?
I've subscribed to a lot of channels and I find it impossible to kind of navigate between them all. I really need to just leave some.
I'm only on like 3 and they're all Flux channels. I just I'm never on there when anyone else is on there. No.
Yeah,
I'm not going to complain about my lack of knowledge about Discord. Let's go back to cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
So Bitcoin started off all anonymous, and that's what its beauty was.
Well, the creator was
realistically,
anonymous.
apparently, you can go back and track everyone's drug deals,
or
gun deals, or anything they bought off the dark web.
Yeah,
but only if you know their wallet number. But you don't know what they bought. You just have an amount, don't you?
that's right. All that information can be collated, like put together.
It is sort of still anonymized, so you don't get a receipt of how many guns you bought or per se.
No, it's. I mean, all that information is probably with the feds. They took down the Silk Road website.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So they would probably have all that information, and anybody who's hacked the Fed would also have that information,
which has happened.
Yeah, in the past.
Many times.
Yeah, I was watching a documentary recently on a hacker.
Just pull this a bit forward.
Sorry, yep.
Pull it towards you.
Yeah, he hacked phone companies, and he was like really early on in the phreaking movement.
Phreaking?
Yeah, like, you know, whistling into the phone to like trick the algorithm.
They did that in... Who's the guy who just spent so many years in WikiLeaks, man?
Julian.
His name escapes me.
Julian.
In the documentary, he's like whistling DTMF tones.
Really?
Yeah. So the keypad on your phone. I'm an ex-radio tech for Motorola.
Oh, cool.
And they've got DTMF, so digital tone multiple frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 has a tone, 2 has a different tone, 3 has a third tone,
right.
and you can get whistles for those frequencies.
Cool.
So you can actually like blast all these tones down a phone line and give people
get free international calls and
Hmm.
Yeah, I really need to learn this skill for the DT.
No, it's all over. It's all over.
Oh, they've made it a lot harder now.
Fax machine noise?
Yeah.
It's usually only 2 because they need it so fast. So it's binary.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They could actually do DTMF tones, but sound is only up to I think it's only 15 kilohertz DTMF tones go to.
Right.
So 15 kilohertz is fuck all. That's why they're only using 2 tones and they're very far apart from each other.
Oh.
Fax machine noise, like it ran out of bandwidth.
Yeah. No, there's. Yeah. I mean,
Can't do it anymore. Yeah, the old dial-up. That's what dial-up was.
Yeah. Those sounds were pretty cool.
Yeah, they're great on your ears or you rang. Hello.
It's like.
Yeah, kids these days will never know what the fuck we're talking about.
I can make a sound.
Yeah, well, back in the day we used to send fax machine noise over two-way radio, and that's what the taxi screens were, and the courier screens, they're hooked up to two-way radios.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just sending fax machine noise over it. That's all it was.
To taxi drivers.
Yeah.
Cool. But why?
Because that's all we had back then.
Just like putting the fax machine up to the phone and.
Well, it was a fax machine noise.
Oh yeah, you called with the fax machine.
But we had like data screens that sent that fax machine noise through a two-way radio to a retransmitter, a repeater, and then that went back out to the taxis, or the taxis sent that same noise back. Yeah.
Did you get free taxi rides?
It's archaic. No.
You just got annoyed taxi drivers.
Well, I spoke to a lot of annoyed taxi drivers. That's all I did as a job, because they just bring in their broken hardware, and I'd have to fix it.
All right.
Yeah. Memo Communications. It was the only Motorola dealer here in Perth at the time.
Oh, cool.
And I used to work for King Communications in Brisbane.
Oh.
Same thing. computer screens, exactly the same technology, just someone else had made it. Anyway, back to cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
So how can I make money?
Well, it's kind of like you need an investment.
I've got $20.
Yeah, you can invest with $20.
That's all I've got.
So what you need to do is turn that $20 into Bitcoin.
Yep.
First, and then use that Bitcoin to buy Tezos. Once you've got the Tezos, you need to then delegate it to my computer's address, which is on the website. Money every 3 days.
Yep.
And once it's delegated, you wait 24 days. After that, you will start to see returns in Tezos every 3 days.
So the program's running on your computer?
Yes. And you control the private key for your funds.
Yep.
So at any time, you can
check on how much is there, and
yep. And you can also just sell it if you want your $20 back. Sell the Tezos, buy back the Bitcoin, sell the Bitcoin for Australian dollars.
Yep.
And then you've got your 20, hopefully more than $20 by then, back.
Is the Cash App the easiest way that I can buy Bitcoin? And I watch a lot of Joe Rogan.
Oh right. I actually haven't tried the Cash App. Yeah.
How do you buy? How do I buy Bitcoin for starters?
Yeah, I mean, maybe the Cash App would work. I can't vouch for it because I haven't tried it myself. But
neither have I yet. So
I mean, there's a few different apps as well. I mean, Crypto is another one, and I must admit I haven't tried that one either. So
it's down. Which one have you used? How do you?
I actually don't use apps to do my trading. I tend to use the computer.
PC.
Yep.
Yep.
So I use the exchange independentreserve.com.
Yep.
And it's always important to check these URLs when you go to the exchange, like triple check, because if you click on an ad and you don't realize it's an ad, but a lot of these scammers are, because
it could be independentreserve.com / blah 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 dot some other thing.
It's a subdomain of a scammer's domain.
Yeah.
So you got to be so careful.
Seen that before.
Yeah, and it happens like more frequently than you think.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
So yeah, I mean, Independent Reserve, they've been around for a long time. They haven't once got hacked.
Yep.
As far as I know, I'm pretty sure nobody would use them if they did get hacked. They have good liquidity.
Well, I'm really worried about using Ethereum now after what you said.
Oh no, don't be. I mean,
the classic at least.
And actually, there is another step. I know what I said before. It sounded probably like quite a lot of steps. But if you want to be really secure, you should probably make an investment. And I know this doesn't make sense for just $20, because this investment is more than that, in a hardware wallet, which is about $100. I know it's more than the $20 you wanted to invest.
No, I just don't know what a hardware wallet is.
Yeah, sorry, I should probably explain what that is and why you want one. So it's like a USB key.
Yep.
And it's basically got its own processor, computing processor, and it's like a small computer.
Oh, it's got RAM in it.
Yeah, it has a little bit of RAM.
And a little processor.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And it's got a secure element chip in there as well. So it's got
Can I back that up if it fucks up?
Well, yes.
Can I copy that?
Yeah. Well,
onto another one, just in case.
Sure. I mean, it's not like
it's going to be the same information on it, so I can't.
Yes.
It's not like I can double up my money on it.
Yeah, that's true. The backup procedure is that it gives you a bunch of random words.
Yeah.
Usually 12 or 24 words, and you normally need to write them down.
I've just got this, Silicon Valley, the TV show?
Yeah, it's awesome.
That guy that drives the Lamborghini?
Yeah.
He lost his thumb drive and had $30 million on it.
Oh, no.
and he had like 10 guys in this. His cleaner threw it out.
I don't remember this.
And it was on. They came to see him for some investment. He's like, yeah, sure, as soon as I find this thumb drive. And he's like, no, they're on a garbage tip in, where are they, San Francisco.
Are you sure this happened on Silicon Valley?
Yes, I'm absolutely sure.
Because there was a very similar news story about a guy losing his hard drive in a tip. Or maybe they based it off
probably
that.
Based off that.
Yeah.
But he's on the... So he's walking around in this tip, and then he says to someone, no, that's a real thumb. I said thumb drive. Put that back.
A real thumb.
It's word for word, straight off Silicon Valley. I love
believe
Silicon
you.
Valley.
Yeah, it's a wicked show. I must have missed that episode.
Yeah, I just want to... Yeah, so say I become rich in this, I just want to back up.
Yeah, that's
and if you can back it up, you've answered my question.
Yeah. And obviously, like, that sounds easy to, like, write down some words and keep them safe, but it's not. It's really hard for most people.
I take photos of stuff.
Yeah, that's a bad strategy. Like, if you kind of write down your words and take a photo of it, the whole point of writing down the words has been compromised, because now there's a digital copy, and whoever manages to hack into your phone can then spend your funds. So it's not trivial to keep.
I do have an Apple though.
Well, that helps. I mean, it does kind of increase your chances a little bit, but
yeah.
I mean, nothing's bulletproof.
Yeah, nothing's bulletproof, but 99% of phone viruses are Android.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't put too much faith in Apple. I myself,
no,
I myself lost.
It's just 100%. It's just 100% better. You lost?
I lost a lot of Bitcoins because I myself put a lot of faith into Apple.
So we had an Apple wallet.
It was actually on my MacBook. And stupidly I didn't encrypt the wallet, so there was no password. Anybody who got access to the file would be able to spend it, and that's exactly what happened. A hacker managed to somehow get into my computer. I don't know if it was because I was in another country connecting to other Wi-Fi.
Were you?
I was. But I mean, these are all circumstances that kind of
yeah.
added up to. I mean, really.
Like,
having a password
it could
on
have
there,
happened here.
It could have,
yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it had been unencrypted on my computer for a long time.
Yeah.
But that was really the mistake, not encrypting it. And it's not like encrypting it and putting a password on it is enough either, because if a hacker can get into your computer, there's every chance they can monitor your computer as well. Look at the keystrokes you're putting in. So putting in a password.
Watch me masturbate over the video.
Even watch you masturbate over
I have
videos.
Little bits of tape.
Smart man.
Not that I care.
Well, I mean, it's a bit disconcerting.
Yeah.
Knowing that people
are
probably watching you, even listening to you.
Maybe it's a thrill. I don't know. Haven't really gone through that.
Most people don't think about the people that are watching them too often.
No, I know they're watching or listening, or I'm not a person that they wouldn't watch. So buy Bitcoin from independentreserve.com.
Yep.
Then buy Tezos.
So Independent Reserve doesn't sell Tezos, so this is why it's a bit of a process. So you also got to sign up to an exchange. I use Kraken. That's Kraken.
Like release the Kraken.
Exactly.
Great rum. So kraken.com.
Yeah. They're, I think, based in Europe. I can't remember the country exactly, but they've been around for a long time as well, and they're really trusted. They're quite reputable.
Yep.
And yeah, there you can so you send the Bitcoin from Independent Reserve to Kraken, and then from Kraken you can turn the Bitcoin into Tezos, and then once you got the Tezos on Kraken, then you can withdraw them to your Tezos wallet. Now that can be either the Trust app, So on your iPhone, you can download the Trust wallet. And that will give you the option to add Tezos as a coin in there. And then that way you're holding the private key on your phone, and you'll be given the list of words to back up.
Okay.
And I mean, obviously you
I use Signal, and if you want to verify the encrypted thing, there'll be words that a phrase.
Yeah.
Same sort of stuff, eh?
Yeah.
That doesn't change though?
No.
Okay.
Those words will always
Yeah.
be able to restore your funds. It's just like a map.
Yeah. A big password.
Map to the treasure.
Yeah. From Leo Treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously if you want to be extra secure, like if you're storing like life-changing amounts of money, you want to look into getting a hardware wallet.
$20 is life-changing for me at the moment.
Well, I mean, it could be like a life-changing amount of money in the future, depending on what happens.
Well, I'm hoping that that you turn my life around, so I can at least get another video camera for this podcast.
That'd be great.
We've you can't see, but we're sharecasting here today. So later on, Leo's going to do a little bit more editing, and he's got his black magic over here facing him, so you can switch between him and me. And
whoops.
Yeah.
I look forward to editing. I haven't done a lot of editing.
Well, DaVinci Resolve won't work on any of my computers. You need the new one.
Mm-hmm.
You need 32 gigs of RAM.
What? I don't even think I have 32 gigs of RAM.
You need 32 gigs of RAM and an 8 gig graphics card for the new one to run.
Oh, right. So I might...
You can still run old ones.
Okay, I'll run an old one.
But fucking DaVinci 10 won't run on my computer.
That's pretty steep requirements. I mean, who has 32 gigs of RAM?
Well, everyone these days, if they're...
Really?
It's... Like, people have 64 gigs of RAM, man.
Wow.
Yeah, it's... I haven't bought a laptop in 9 years.
Wow.
Still going, still running all this. I tried to future-proof that as much as I could, but that's still only got 8 gigs of RAM. i7, 8 gigs of RAM.
That's amazing. It runs all this time without any hiccups.
It's had a few hiccups, mainly because I've poured wine over it like 5 times. Most of the keyboard doesn't work.
Wow.
But everything else works.
Yeah, I mean, that's brilliant.
Yeah. And it was the last 18.4 inch screen. It's the biggest laptop anyone has ever made and sold, manufactured. They've probably made bigger laptops, but custom.
What brand is that?
It's Toshiba Cosmio.
Cool.
It's like when Acer came out with their Alienware, because Cosmio came out first.
Asus, did you say?
Acer.
Acer, yeah. That's right. I used to have an Acer laptop.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, they're pretty
Hmm.
good. But they came out with their flagship Alienware.
Oh yeah.
To compete with that.
Oh. And so, what is the meaning of Cosmo?
No idea.
What was it?
I don't speak Japanese.
It's Japanese. That makes sense. Toshiba.
Yeah. I think they're all Japanese, aren't they?
No.
Acer?
Maybe, actually.
Asus?
Asus is definitely Taiwanese.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a Asus once in Taiwan.
Got a random fly in here tonight.
Yeah. Have you got one of those like rackets with the electricity?
I did have like 5. I gave them all away as presents.
No, you need one at least.
And then my one I broke because I got angry. And then I turned it into a taser and started tasing everyone. I don't know where that is.
Oh,
I want one of those salt guns.
Salt?
Yeah, you put salt in it and pull it back. It's like an air compressor. It's an air gun.
Oh, cool. Is that illegal here?
It's tiny.
No, but I mean, like, aren't old guns illegal?
Okay, so It's the projectile.
Oh, right.
You can have... So like a spud gun is illegal because of the projectile.
Really?
But the projectile has to
it's
have...
salt.
The projectile has to have under a certain kilojoule.
Oh.
And this is where the law... Once you actually go into the law... yeah.
Interesting.
I looked it up because I was...
Because you wanted a salt gun.
I want to build a railgun. I'm doing a movie, and part of the movie is I build a railgun, a handheld railgun.
Cool.
That's
so the one that's like.
No, so a railgun is you get lots of capacitors together, and you put them all in not in series, in parallel, and then you insert a metal thing at speed, because if the metal thing just touches it, it's going to weld itself. But if you get it at speed, it will actually try to accelerate it at the speed of light.
Wow.
That's what a railgun is.
That sounds pretty lethal.
Yeah, it's really lethal. And it is illegal.
Yeah.
It is a projectile. You have to have a special license. You can actually get a special scientific license for this.
Really?
Which I've been looking into, but
I guess like military applications.
Yeah, it is a military application. So normal artillery from like a battleship could go 30 miles, 40 miles,
An hour.
50, 60 k's.
Wow.
But railgun is like 5 times that.
Far out.
The muzzle velocity of the railguns they've been using is like Mach 7.
Wow.
Yeah, Mach 7. Man.
Mach
is times the speed of sound.
Oh, right.
Mach 1 is the speed of sound.
Oh, thanks.
So at sea level, I think we're going to find out later tonight, because SpaceX is doing that thing tonight.
No,
you don't know.
What are they doing?
So I was going to try and live, but I don't think my internet's good enough to do a live broadcast tonight.
Okay.
Been having some problems with my SpaceX are launching a Falcon 9 up to max Q, which is like supersonic, but it's still in the thick air, and then they're going to eject the crew capsule off the top. It's called an in-flight abort test.
Okay.
And they're going to destroy a rocket at the same time. Like, they're intentionally destroying something.
Wow.
On video. It's gonna be...
Hang on. Why are they destroying a rocket?
So it's their final test for crews to the International Space Station.
Right.
It's their final test.
But
5 years ago they did a pad abort test. So they just stuck like the end bit of the rocket that's supposed to carry the crew on a pad, and then did the abort test, and it went out to sea, and the parachutes worked properly, and the crew was all within 10 Gs. And
okay.
But this time, like, they're going to take a rocket up to supersonic speeds. So at high altitude, supersonic speeds is... Fuck me, I can't remember if it's higher or lower than sea level. I think it's higher. So the higher you go, the easier supersonic is.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Less friction.
So I think it's 924 miles an hour at sea level. I was watching land speed record holders documentary the other day. I think it was 924 miles an hour, which is...
That's fast.
It's like 1,200 kilometres an hour.
Wow.
But that's at sea level, so the higher you go,
the easier it is.
the faster it has to be. So, 9 o'clock.
Wow, that'd be interesting.
Watch SpaceX on YouTube.
Okay.
We'll be live broadcasting it.
Cool.
They reckon it may take a while because they have to get there's no launch window.
Yeah.
Because they're not actually it's not going orbital, so they don't have to meet up with anything.
Yeah, and so all that the rocket that they're destroying is just going to fall back down to the Earth.
Yeah.
That's good.
It will.
That's good. It
will either fall like all on its own.
Yeah.
Because once they do the abort, they'll shut off the rockets, or because it doesn't have landing legs, it doesn't have a second stage.
Yeah.
But the second stage is in there and it's full of fuel.
Right.
But there's no rocket on the bottom, so they think that's got to explode as well.
So are they just doing this just to test that they can successfully destroy that fuel?
It's all
rocket,
about the passengers,
and they're in the top part.
So no matter, it is the hardest part of the launch. Supersonic, high atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
It's the worst time to abort. It's about the same time that Challenger fucked up.
Shit.
Remember Challenger?
Yeah.
How old are you?
34.
You would have missed it. 87?
Yeah.
86, 87?
Yeah, no, I think I heard about Challenger.
It was Challenger. I saw it live.
Oh my god.
Yeah. We watched it at school.
Oh.
They wheeled the TV into the classroom.
Yeah, I remember the TVs in
It's
school.
horrible, man.
No, that would have been devastating.
Because it was the first teacher to ever go to space. The first female. I don't know if it was the first female to go to space, but
right.
It was the first teacher to go to space.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was about Max Q. So yeah. But that's tonight.
Cool. I'll
Big
tune
time.
into that. Thanks.
Yeah. I'll give you the thingy.
Thanks.
So getting back to point. So you go to independentreserve.com, buy some Bitcoin, go to kraken.com, use that Bitcoin to buy Tezos.
Yep.
Which is this smart, what's it called? Smart contracts.
It uses smart contracts. You don't need to use them.
I don't need to use them. Other people are using them, and that's how you make money, right?
Whoa. There's a few things that are going to affect the price of Tezos.
Yep.
So, institutions using the Tezos blockchain to create these smart contracts, which might in turn represent like more traditional assets on the Tezos blockchain. So, for example, like representing shares on the market.
Yep.
Instead of like right now, they're in kind of these clearing houses that they only operate from Monday to Friday between 9 and 4, for example.
But internationally, so it works all the time.
Yeah, Tezos is working internationally all the time.
Yeah.
But like the traditional markets, they close on the weekends, and it's. I mean,
the sun never sets on the world, you know.
Yeah, from my point of view, like the crypto is just an evolution in terms of the technology that, like it's like the internet versus the fax machine.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So
it's a great analogy.
Thanks. I think that's where it's headed, and like property as well is another huge. There's already a development happening where they're going to sell tokens that are kind of using the Tezos blockchain, using the smart contracts, and so people would need to I mean, they're not going to need to buy Tezos necessarily. That like it's like that Ripple thing I was talking about before. Like people are going to be buying the thing, but like underneath, the institutions will be needing to pay for the smart contracts using Tezos, and the people might have tokens that are not Tezos, but like they're based on the Tezos blockchain. So yeah, that's just talking about what might affect the price if Tezos sees more institutional interest in using the technology.
Yep.
Yeah. Of course, if institutions decide they're going to go with Ethereum and Ripple instead, that might, and people don't want to hold their money in Tezos, that would probably see some downward pressure on the price.
Okay.
But I think this whole thing about money every 3 days, and actually I think there's going to be a change in the protocol soon where it's actually going to change to every day.
Yep.
And it's like around 6 or 7%
Daily
interest.
indexing, eh?
Daily indexing?
So index daily when you have a loan or something, they calculate it every day.
Yeah, so it does it compounds every payment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the bank pays you once a month and it compounds every.
But they index it daily. Yeah. So they make money every day.
They index it, the amount, but they don't actually pay you every day. So,
yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
so that's how they make their money.
Yeah. So I think
they're
once
fucking
people
billions of dollars a quarter.
Yeah, and like, not only that with the banking system, like a lot of the money that they have is actually like not there. Right,
yeah,
like they've only got to keep 10.
You talk about the fractional reserve loan system.
Yeah, so like there's always this concern that people who have lots of money like over the limit, and they.
For those that don't know, stop it now and watch a doco on fractional reserve banking.
Yeah, FRB.
And then you'll be fucking horrified.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that Henry Ford quote. If people knew how the banking institutions worked, there would be a riot by tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
something like that.
Basically, if you went down to your bank and wanted all your money, if everyone wanted their money, they don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah,
they don't have it.
Not everyone's going to get their money. It's first in best
run on
dressed.
the banks will destroy this country.
And it's not going to just
country.
Be one country. It's going to be they're all
country.
kind of relying on each other. Like everybody's got debt in another country. But so the crypto kind of stuff doesn't really have that problem because the tokens themselves.
That's one thing I really do like about it.
Yeah,
it is uncorrupted.
Yeah, and it's transparent
by normal means.
I mean, you can actually see the coins are there. Like you've got the full auditability. Auditability.
Yeah, I think that's a real word.
Yeah. So yeah, I like
if it's
that.
audibility.
No, audibility.
Audibility
like
sound.
The sound.
Yeah. No, it's very true.
So I think eventually people might start to look at using crypto as a bank account instead of the regular bank account, because like particularly with the price appreciation that Bitcoin has seen and a lot of the other cryptos as well, they've done really well.
Volatility, I think, is the only thing that is holding it back.
Yeah, and there's people working on stable coins now, which are supposed to like reflect the US dollar more closely and keep and hold their value. And there's other projects that are trying to just be stable in terms of having like not necessarily trying to track just the US dollar, but just trying to like iron out the volatility, like when it just like via incentives.
Yep.
So there's a lot of different projects. BlockFi is this kind of a company that pays dividends on your Bitcoin, so you can earn I think like 6% a year.
Oh, like a real bank savings account.
Yeah, just like what people used to, like you get a return on your. Yeah, so it is like a bank, like you're kind of giving them and trusting them with your Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like as these
if they're holding it, I don't know. Do you give them?
It's kind of not the point of crypto, like to give your crypto to someone else.
Doesn't sound right.
It's not right.
It's like,
yeah. But I mean,
because if you give the money to them, it's like you lose out on what you could gain from volatility.
Well, it's not necessarily that you'll lose out because they're paying you like a return, right? And you can always just get it back, like withdraw, and you can sell it when you want. But the issue is,
so you don't lose out if it gains $1,000.
Yeah, you don't lose out because they're paying you in Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can choose to get paid in US dollars instead if you want.
Yeah.
But the problem is when you want your Bitcoin back, and they don't have it, like banks.
Yes. Like,
and the Ponzi comes.
Yeah, because that was basically what the crash of Bitcoin 2 years ago around New Year's was a run on Bitcoin. To a certain extent,
I disagree.
People cashed out.
I wouldn't call it a run on Bitcoin. It's more like a...
People cashed out of it, though.
Sure, but that's not the same thing. What happened was a huge run up in speculation.
Well, they can't have a run on Bitcoin because I see what you mean.
Yeah, but the previous event with Mt. Gox, are you familiar with Mt. Gox? So that was the very first Bitcoin exchange that imploded. I mean, that existed and then imploded. They had a run.
What happened there?
So it was a Japanese exchange, and it actually stood for Magic the Gathering Online Exchange. I don't know if you're familiar with that card game. Anyway, it's still actually quite a popular card game. But
it's a specialised card game with their own cards.
Yeah, okay. And like collectible cards,
like Rise Against Humanity or whatever it's called. Cards Against Humanity.
Cards Against Humanity. Yeah. Oh, I think it's quite different to that actually. It's kind of got like it's complex. Like and there's mana and spells and stuff. Anyway, so they converted that card game exchange into a Bitcoin exchange, and then it got hacked. This was like when Bitcoin was like $5 or $10, and the exchange got hacked.
I actually remember then.
Yeah, were you following Bitcoin back then? Or you would have heard of it.
I knew Bitcoin when it was under $1.
Oh my god, that's super early. There's not many people like you have heard of it.
Idiot.
Oh yeah, that's gotta hurt.
Well, I was getting emails from my mates going, "Oh, look what you could do on the darknet."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean there was that use case that definitely would have appealed to a lot of people, and it appealed to me as well.
Bitcoin's not going to be worth anything. You won't be able to do anything with it. What's that now? $8,000?
US
the other day. Yeah, something like that.
About 13,000 Australian.
Yeah.
It's not too late. It might be worth trillions one day if the global financial system collapses, which is quite possible.
Well, Bitcoin has... Yeah. What's the TV series from recent? Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
Watching Mr. Robot?
I actually haven't kept up with the latest season, but I did watch the first.
You know about eCoin?
Yeah.
They introduced their own.
Yeah.
All the banking collapsed.
Yeah, eCoin.
Because Mr. Robot deleted all the accounts.
Yeah. Good on him.
And Evil Corp, E Corp, introduced their own cryptocurrency, and ran the world from that.
Yeah, right. And there was that scene where they had like Bitcoin accepted here in the back. It was a very minor detail. One of the scenes there was like a bar or something, and Bitcoin accepted here.
I don't remember that.
It was
like
very,
a little Easter egg.
Yeah. 2 seconds.
I'll have to look for that later.
Yeah,
I love that. It's like Fight Club TV.
Yeah, it's a good show. Just look on the Bitcoin subreddit for Mr. Robot and it'll come up.
I'd really like to write a movie about taking down... I don't want to affect normal people. Just the ultra rich.
Taking down the trusts.
Yeah. And the hedge funds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be an entertaining
I'd really like to write a movie like that.
Yeah, sure, do it. I mean, I really like the idea of writing a show. I think I can do it. I haven't attempted it yet.
We could do it. We could do it on cryptocurrency, but from
sure.
from the rich perspective. So the rich have their own cryptocurrency, and we take it down.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Well,
I don't want to sow fear in your business, though.
No, that I mean, any attention is good attention. I think.
Yep.
I mean, probably with the exception of terrorism.
It's virtually what we're talking about. I've got another couple of movies on the go, which are basically just terrorism movies.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely good entertainment. I mean, as long as it's all
good fun and no one gets hurt.
Yeah, as long as there's no real terrorism happening.
No. There was probably one day where I really wanted to do real terrorism, and I decided to focus my
efforts on something else.
Into movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good decision.
Yeah. Thank you, Anthony. Anthony gave me the job of doing the soundtrack for Black Ghost.
Oh, cool.
I've got the.
Do you have?
Got the DVD here to advertise.
All right. I'm not sure if I've seen this yet.
Black Ghost.
So where is this available?
It's a Perth gangster movie. It's available on Vimeo.
Oh, cool.
Amazon Prime.
Oh, it's already out.
It came out last year. Yeah.
Fantastic. I'll watch that.
So there's like 7 songs in it, and I've got 13. Most of them are just little small clips.
Hang on, it's got 13 songs and you've got 7?
Mine.
Oh, right.
Well, there's 13 songs that I've put into it.
Yeah, wicked.
For maybe there's only 5 from other people. Yeah, you can. The soundtrack. I also released the soundtrack on 1,000 digital places.
Oh, sweet.
So you can get it on Spotify.
Wicked. How did you do that?
I've got my own record label.
No way, really?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to join up with you, I think, because
Yeah, do it.
I was doing DistroKid before, but I just, I think I earned like 5 cents.
I don't.
4 cents, actually.
So the problem is promoting.
I was paying $20 a year.
$20 a year. No, it's So I'll charge you a small fee, which is about that, just to upload it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'll take like 10% of whatever you
cool.
earn, just as administration fees.
Okay.
And then the problem after that is promoting.
Yeah, well, that's probably where I fell down before.
That's where I fall.
I think I only uploaded like 2 tracks, and then
yeah,
I needed to probably do more in uploading.
About 8 years ago, I brought out. It was just an album that we made on Reason.
Nice.
Like a deep dark house.
Oh, sweet.
Album. And I did lots of research back then about how to release digitally on your own.
Yeah.
And then I come across a few places. There's like 5 or 6 places that would do it for you. But the one I chose actually like gives me a record label that I can go to you or go to whoever. So for a small, it's like $100 depending on length of song, what you want, and other options. It's under $100. You pay me, and then I pay you from then on.
Cool.
There's no yearly thing.
All right. That's attractive.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's great. I stumbled on the best digital distribution company.
Awesome.
So far, I researched it again for Black Ghost, and I still have the best company to work for.
Cool. And they don't take a cut from.
They take a cut, yeah.
Oh, okay. How much is that? Can I ask?
So, say iTunes.
Yeah.
iTunes will take.
Oh yeah, they take their cut.
iTunes will take a cut, and then these people will take a cut, and I get 70 cents on the dollar.
Oh, okay.
I get 70 cents in the dollar.
Yep.
I take my 10 cents, and you get 63 cents in the dollar.
Oh. Yeah, that doesn't sound too good.
That's actually the best rate you'll ever find.
Well, I've been looking at some of these platforms that
iTunes will always take that much.
Yeah, I realise they take a lot, and that's probably like what kind of is a bit of a showstopper for me, because it's very like old model. I'm not saying that you don't have the best deal. It's probably
My
a very
guy's
good
only
deal.
10%.
Yeah,
And I'm 10%, so...
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've been looking at some of these other crypto music platforms.
What's the distribution like, though?
Well, it's different.
It's
I
like,
mean, it's
like something like 70 or 80% go through either Google or Apple.
yeah. So they don't do that. They basically have a website, which obviously narrows.
You can always do that as well.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it makes sense to put it out on as many different platforms as possible. But I thought what was interesting about this is, like, you buy the tokens, and then they pay you. It's actually like heaps, like 25% a year, and they pay you in the tokens
Of
their. Well, this one that I'm talking about.
Say I spend $1 on your music, how much do you get?
Oh, right.
That's what I'm basing mine on.
Yeah. I don't actually know, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's a lot better than 60 or 70 cents. I'm sure it's a lot better, like, because basically their business model is different. Their business
CD
model is the
Baby was
token.
like 50%. And
But-
most of them are most of them are running like 15 to 17% less than what I get.
Yeah.
No, hang on. 15 to 17% of what I would give you. So
Yeah. But the reason those
if you've got a better thing, I'm happy to listen. to it.
Yeah. But the reason they're able to compete better is, well, mostly it's about the credit card fees. I think, like the merchant fees that they need to pay.
1.4%.
How much?
1.4% is usually credit card.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be it.
It's Visa and more.
I think it varies depending on which credit card is
That's
getting.
that's both Visa and MasterCard. If you're using fucking American Express to do all this shit, fucking, you're an idiot.
Well, I mean, they have like all these different incentives, right? Like if you have an Amex card and then you're paying and the merchant accepts it, you as a customer get kickbacks. In the form
because they
of like,
Amex have got like 120 or 150 day pay, whereas Visa and MasterCard is instantaneous.
right. Yeah.
So they hold on to your money for 150 days.
I see.
That's why people don't like Diners Card,
Yeah.
don't like Amex.
Yeah.
Businesses don't get their fucking money.
Yeah.
That's why they don't accept.
That's a bit of an inconvenience for sure.
Mm.
I'm actually I'm also running another website that has a Bitcoin accepting solution in there.
It's cool.
Modular synth. So modularsyntH.fun. And I'm basically selling like sound recordings of this kind of stuff. Synths.
Yep.
For Bitcoin. I've had a few sales, but I really need to put some more sounds on there.
I'll do your deal, man.
Yeah,
If you want to distribute to 1,000 companies, yeah, fucking hell.
cool. Oh, that sounds
It's
great.
the same deal I give to all my friends.
Thanks.
Yeah, 10% I think is okay for administration fee.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
So it's 7 cents, 7 cents out of the dollar that I get, and you get 67 cents or something like that.
Yeah. Oh,
It
it's
actually
good.
went up 3 cents. I was like surprised. But promotion is the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Promotion.
Yeah.
it is racked with people out there trying to sell their stuff.
Yeah, it's a fierce competition.
That's what this stuff like this is, helps people out, you know?
Yeah. I was actually using like another music platform that like nobody had heard of. It was another blockchain one. Unfortunately, they recently folded
Imploded because they weren't making any money.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was a bit of a shame. Like I had all my music there and it's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, they're supposed to be migrating to this new one, that one I was talking about before. Emanate, it's called. But I don't think it's happened yet.
Yeah, so just need a cover photo about that big.
Oh yeah?
They've got a whole lot of rules about how you can't have it. It can't be too unfocused or
No nudity.
blah blah blah.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a photo. Like the first one I ever did was a photo of my crimped up hand. And they thought it was too lewd, and then knocked me back like 5 times.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, it's a photo of a hand. Come on, man.
I saw some of those pictures on one of your previous videos.
There we are.
With the fire incident.
The fire.
When you
I set myself on fire right there.
was this here? Oh my god!
It's right here. The desk was over there, and it set fire to the start of the desk. Shit. And I didn't want the desk. For those that can't see, there's a lot of equipment.
Yep.
Keyboard, sound desk,
all
computers,
expensive looking stuff.
Microphones. And I didn't want to set fire to any of that.
So you opted to set fire to yourself instead?
No, I actually tripped up between here and the door. So between here and the door, I actually set myself on fire. Sure. And I've changed out the curtain, but if I stood next to the curtain, the burn was like up to here.
Oh my god!
The flames were pretty high. And I just ran out to the hose.
Did you do the
put myself out?
Stop, drop, and roll, or just the hose?
No, just the hose. Just ran to the hose.
Oh. Did you have to take off your?
It's not petrol.
Clothes,
I was already just in my underwear.
Oh right.
So it was straight on the skin.
Shit. So was that flammable liquid?
It was methanol.
Oh my god.
Like methylated spirits. You know the clear stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in a stage like making all these weird methanol burners and.
Oh yeah.
So if you do. It's not here, I thought. Here's one. So if you put that in a jar and then make a loop, and have a wick in there, it'll actually make a self-running flame.
Okay.
It's very ornate.
But what is the point of it? It looks good.
It's a lamp.
Oh.
They're lamps. Yes, it's a self-running lamp. Makes a flame, so you can. I saw a YouTube video and made a few of them. I don't have any more. I threw them all out. But I couldn't get the lid off one of the jars, so I just made a hole in the jar.
Yeah.
And then poured the methanol in, and stupid me didn't put a thingy over it or let it evaporate.
Oh, okay.
So I lit it up and then started freaking out.
Shit.
I ran a test later. It burnt itself out in 2.5 minutes. So there would have been just like a little mark on the plastic.
Right.
And nothing else.
It would have just been like a fiery lamp.
Would have just burned itself out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I freaked out.
You got to be careful about like freaking out.
Yeah. You got to be careful about freaking out.
And just around fire in general.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty good with fire. I used to fire breathe.
Really?
Well, you've seen my my Facebook profile.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there is
My
some
profile-
fire in that picture. I remember.
Yeah, my profile
that's
photo.
you, breathing
That's
fire.
me fire breathing
Awesome.
at a friend's birthday.
Wow.
I hadn't done it for years, and I thought I want to give this girl a prezi. Shout out to Tamara. Yeah.
Cool.
There's a whole series of photos of me fire breathing.
Wow.
Kero, you use Kero to fire breathe. It tastes minerally.
Yeah.
It's an oil, so it's not because it's an oil and not a pure hydrocarbon.
Oh.
When you breathe in, you don't die.
Right.
Do not use methylated spirits for it.
Good tip.
Because you die.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It does
Yeah.
say like poison on that.
Yeah, well, same thing in here. The clear methylated spirits by law is 99% ethanol.
Yeah, right.
The blue methylated spirits is mainly methanol.
Okay.
So they're two different chemicals.
Sorry, what was the first one again?
Ethanol and methanol.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you burn ethanol in your car, well, like you do, if you buy it at United, it's clear. You don't smell it. It's like a perfect burn, really. But methanol is nasty.
Right.
Nasty.
But
have you gone to the Speedway
no.
or race cars?
Oh wait,
or
I was
drags?
there once. I was there once. I didn't
You
see.
smell the fuel?
Yeah.
That's methanol.
Okay.
Wood alcohol.
Wood.
Yeah, they make it from cellulose.
Okay.
So if you're ever distilling or anything like that, like the more cellulose you've got in your fermenter, the more methanol you're going to have. Just a pure sugar fermenter will give you basically pure ethanol, and you won't have much methanol in there at all.
Oh.
Just a little pro tip for all the people that are going to illegally distill out there.
Yeah.
Not that I ever do that.
No, I once did.
You once did?
Yeah. That was good. We made some absinthe and whiskey.
Yeah. Just a sugar wash.
It was like they had these kind of sachets of. Allegedly, we had some sachets, and some color dye, I think, for the absinthe, and also for the whiskey. There's color dye.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's actually absinthe growing in some gardens around Perth.
Is that a plant?
It's a plant.
Shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Up until recently, it was actually growing at the Raffles Hotel.
Cool.
You ever been to the Raffles Beer Garden?
Like once, maybe.
So they've got all these garden beds, which are just the septic tanks. The septic tanks that they've just placed on the ground and filled with soil.
Like not full of septic.
Not septic, no. And they were growing trees out of them in the middle of the beer garden. People don't know the septic tanks. They just look like a concrete piece of thing with a few holes on it.
Yeah, right.
It's very industrial.
That sounds cool.
Another one then?
Oh, I'm okay, thanks.
But they had all this absinthe growing around the tree trunks in every one of them.
Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what absinthe looks like, so
I'll show you. I'll
check
show
it
you
out.
a picture later.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's so I'd had some ethanol at some stage in my life, and I just poked all this allegedly absinthe into a bottle, and I've got like a time lapse. Well, I took it straight away, and I took another photo 10 minutes later, and then another one 10 minutes later.
Right, cool.
And it goes yellow, and then harder yellow, and then it turns into a green like that.
Wow.
That's a lot of absinthe in this, though.
So was that like turning the plant absinthe into the alcohol absinthe?
So the alcohol was leaching all the chemicals out of it.
Wicked.
Mm.
So would have that been like
And I took it to my cousin's wedding, and
drinkable?
yeah, it's great.
Awesome.
It was 89%.
That sounds
So-
really dangerous.
So a lot of people would like only have I was warning people that it was strong.
Yeah.
Um,
Because can't you like go blind from higher percentages?
oh no, it's only if you have lots of it.
Okay.
Like if you have one shot of 89%, it's like having 2 shots of something else,
Yeah, right.
or 3 shots of a liqueur. But yeah, if you have too much alcohol, you'll go blind.
Yeah.
That's really what it's about.
Yeah.
So the
Very strange. Why?
the higher the volume, the quicker you get there.
Yep.
And that's all it is.
To blindness.
To blindness.
Wow.
Well, to real. So the blindness thing is really about methanol.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense because that's the nasty stuff.
So
right?
if you go to Indonesia and buy cheap vodka,
Oh yeah.
in Bali, there's all these illegal distilleries happening behind pubs,
Yeah, right.
and they're making methanol comes out first. So if you
That's right. And then they got to like filter that to make it.
you just don't include it. It comes like
Right.
so the boil. Once you boil it up, methanol will come out first,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you put your finger underneath, you go, oh, and then it'll become sweet, and then so as soon as it becomes sweet, that's all the methanol gone. So you throw that first bit away,
Ah.
or you use it to clean your car parts, or
Oh.
chuck it in your engine for a bit of vroom vroom vroom. That will send people blind.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, too much ethanol is just alcohol poisoning, and people do die. Like,
Yeah, alcohol
really
kills a lot of
die.
people.
Yes, it does. There was a thing about because it's so widespread, it actually has the most damage on people.
Yeah.
But per person, it doesn't actually do that much damage.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean.
It's just because it's so widespread.
Yeah, and also because a lot of people overdo it, and
And they're fucking crazy.
yeah. That's probably the main problem,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
People are too fucking crazy.
Yeah. Alcohol psychosis.
Yeah, that's the thing for sure.
I know I've been guilty of it in the past. Sorry, ex-girlfriends. Maybe it wasn't all my fault. Let's get back to what we were saying, though. So
Yeah,
it's called Money Every 3 Days.
that's my website, onlyevery3days.com.
And the money comes from the use of Tezos.
Yeah, so actually, the money, I mean the Tezos, it actually kind of like
Which is equatable to money.
yeah. I mean, because you can sell it
Yeah.
for money, effectively. So the Tezos is actually created by these by the software that these computers are running, like the one I have at Money Every 3 Days, and they are creating these new Tezos at a rate that is agreed on by the whole network. And so if you are running one of these programs, you can participate in the future of the direction of the protocol. So you can vote on
So it
things
is like Tezos mining.
yeah, and because you're participating as like a because you're participating as a node on the network, you can vote on decisions and you can put forward decisions that affect like parameters, say like how many Tezos should be created. So I should probably talk a little bit about how the protocol works. The reason it's every 3 days, it's actually every 2.8 days, roughly speaking.
Pardon me.
So, yeah, is because that's how long a cycle is, and so the rewards basically they happen every cycle, every 2.8 days, and within the cycles there are blocks. So like in Bitcoin, a block happens every 10 minutes, give or take. It can change quite quickly. But in Tezos, it's at least every minute is a block. So the transactions are kind of getting grouped into a block. Same like a batch in banking.
Yep.
So yeah, so it's quite a bit faster than Bitcoin. You don't have to wait like half an hour for 3 confirmations, 3 blocks. Yeah, do you have any questions?
I had no idea you had to wait for Bitcoin. I don't know what to ask. So I'm in the dark about everything with this, and I'm sure most people are.
Yeah, I mean,
so the more that you can explain.
Yeah, so I should probably talk a little bit about Bitcoin and
Yep.
like the confirmations. I didn't really explain that properly. A lot of exchanges. The reason.
So say I make a Bitcoin purchase.
Yeah. So you'd need to send your dollars to the exchange, and they would need to, and because you're not actually buying the Bitcoins off the exchange, like from the exchange directly, they're like a matchmaker. So you're actually buying somebody else's Bitcoins.
Yeah.
Using the exchange as a matchmaker. So somebody's sending their Bitcoins to the exchange, and you're sending your dollars to the exchange. And once you and the person who sent their Bitcoin have agreed on the price using the order book, the trade happens, and then the exchange goes, okay, so now you own these Bitcoins and you own the Australian dollars. So then when you withdraw the Bitcoins, it's basically sending the Bitcoins that person had sent to the exchange to your wallet, which in this case, if you're withdrawing to Kraken, the exchange sends on your behalf your Bitcoins to Kraken's exchange. And so it's basically just account ledgers, and
Yep.
And the other person can then withdraw their Australian the Australian dollars that then belongs to them.
It's very similar to buying foreign currency.
Yeah. It's basically the same deal.
But via an encrypted service.
I mean, yeah, the exchanges all use encryption for safety.
I'm sure probably all banks use encryption, so it's not really.
Actually, I think recently one of the
I don't
banks.
think it's different, is it?
Whoa.
Not totally. What were we saying recently?
Oh, sorry, I can't remember which bank, but they were caught doing they accidentally sent all their customer data in plain text or something. It was just like something like you would not expect a bank to do, but because they were under pressure,
They didn't use their VPN.
No, it wasn't about VPN. Like they
VPN's encrypt.
Yeah, but it was like they sent
An email.
I can't remember what it was, but like all their customer
I do remember something like this.
Actually, sorry, it was recent.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
Also, my bank just recently sent me a letter saying, "Sorry, by the way,
Someone hacked. Holy shit!
Yeah, all of your account balance information and name and like phone number and email address have potentially been discovered by a hacker. But don't worry, your funds are safe."
It's a major Australian bank.
It is. Well, it's not like a big bank.
You don't have to tell everyone your bank.
Yeah, no, it's probably best that I don't. I shouldn't give away too much on that.
But I'm sure that's actually probably happened to most banks.
Oh, I'm sure it
recently,
happens to all of them.
So I don't think it's that much. What you've said is really that much of a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I don't keep too much money in my bank.
Neither do I.
It's
not for lack of trying though.
Yeah.
So,
and the reason you want to take the Tezos off the exchange and into your wallet is because like banks, exchanges can stuff up as well, and they can get hacked, and they have been hacked in the past a lot. I mean, some of these exchanges actually offer staking, which is this kind of giving you the money every 3 days. They offer it as a service, and that's actually become really popular. Coinbase is one of the huge crypto exchanges.
Coinbase?
Yep.
Yep.
And so they offer Tezos staking. I think they charge like 25% as a fee. I only charge about 4%, which is quite low compared to what most people are charging.
Yep.
They charge normally about 8 to 10%.
Well, price points are great for little guys.
Yeah, and that's what I figure. I mean, I'm just starting out. I want to...
Yeah, same as my 10 for... you'll have a lot more customers than I do, because there's not that many musicians.
For
my digital distribution
right.
for music, so...
Well, I mean, my whole platform's gone down. I mean, it wasn't my platform. The
platform 4% for a high value, for a high volume.
Yeah, I mean, it all adds up.
If it does go high volume,
yeah. I think I've got about 200 people delegating to money every 3 days.
Yeah.
I mean, all the stuff's public, right?
That's a fair few people.
Yeah.
When did you start it?
Just in October, I think. I mean, it's definitely been keeping me busy. So
it just runs on a percentage of how many people use Tezos.
Actually, it doesn't matter how many people use Tezos. The Tezos will always be generated and they'll always be paid. What is the risk is that people don't believe in Tezos and they want to sell their Tezos as soon as they get it, and everybody sells their return every 3 days. They're all putting downward pressure on the price.
Yeah.
And if everybody's cashing out, and there's not enough people coming in, then that's going to make the price go down.
It's a run.
Well, I wouldn't call it a run, but yeah, it's like a run.
In a certain sense.
It's kind of like a run in terms of people wanting to get out and not being the last person to hold the bag. Yeah.
Yeah. But obviously this is... you think this is going to grow?
I do. Yeah. It's probably about 1/200th of the size of the Bitcoin market.
Yep.
So I think it's got some room to grow.
0.5%.
It's
0.5%.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a bit slow with the maths calculator. I always use a calculator.
Yeah, well, I'm going to put some money into it to start off. Well, I always wanted to start doing something anyway.
Well, good on you. I mean, it's you always just like taking the first step. The first step is it's not always an easy decision, and good on you for taking that.
Yeah, well, I'll only be starting off with the money that I can afford. So
well, $20 is enough to start. I mean,
yeah, and I'll be giving people updates on how it's going. Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
For sure. Is there anything else you wanted to explain to people?
Oh, there's just probably one more thing I wanted to mention. You
got plenty of time, man.
Thanks.
Plenty of time.
It's just about probably like it's just a plug for a project that's open source, and it's
go for it. I'll get you water.
Oh, thank you. So it's an open source search engine. Thanks. And I think it's thanks. I think it's important.
Yep.
Because there's not really many people who are running it, and I think there should be. I think if more people check out this project and run it, they'll get more experience in. I mean, a search engine is a really complicated piece of software, right?
Well, Google's not that hard.
To use
For me.
use a search engine is not hard, but
you got to troll a database of the internet, which is
that's the hard part.
which is only 30% really of the entire internet. Dark web's huge now.
Is it? I haven't been on there.
Apparently, the dark web takes up like of all the internet. The dark web is like 70%.
Yeah, I've heard that stat before actually.
So out of known internet sites,
Yeah.
Google only does 30%,
Yeah, right.
35%.
And I think people are using this open source software to actually try and index some of the dark web.
What's it called?
It's called Yasi.
Spell?
Y-A.
Yep.
C-Y.
Yasi.
Yasi. It's pronounced Yasi.
Yep.
Yeah. But I always used to pronounce it Yasi. But anyway, yeah, so it's really easy to get it like started. You just download it, you run it, and you have a search engine.
So it's not just like a website that runs it?
No, well, there's a website, but and you can like try out some searches on there just to check out what kind of results you get.
Yep.
But if you want to like run it properly and help the network, you kind of got to forward a port to your computer.
Like an actual program.
Yeah, it is a program that runs on your computer.
Yep.
And if you leave it running, it will more likely
Mine Bitcoin.
No, I wasn't going to say it.
That's what Pirate Bay does.
I'm sure they do.
If you leave the Pirate Bay running, it'll mine Bitcoin on your computer.
Right. Or probably Monero now. Monero is more CPU friendly. In terms of being able to generate, it uses your computer processing unit rather than the GPU. It's more economic.
You're just a wealth of fucking information. What is it? Monero?
Yeah, M-O-N.
Yeah.
E-R-O. M-O-N-E-R-O. Monero.
Yeah.
And that's Esperanto for coin.
Esperanto as in
The language.
Spanish.
It's an international language. It's like a mix of languages.
Esperanto?
Yeah, I don't speak it.
So it's like Mexican Spanish.
I don't.
They're the two major places that Colombia,
Right.
Venezuela, Mexico, and Spain, Peru.
Yeah, probably.
Brazil speaks Portuguese.
Yeah. Don't they speak Brazilian?
It's Portuguese.
No, Portugal speak Portuguese.
Well, Portugal used to own Brazil.
Right.
Yeah, Brazil speak a different language to nearly everyone else in South America.
Don't they speak Brazilian?
It's Portuguese.
I'm pretty sure Brazilian's a language.
I don't have Siri.
Hang on, I think I have.
I'm happy to. I'm happy to explore this. It won't take long. Brazil languages of Brazil is Portuguese. No, right. I've known a few Portuguese, Brazilian ladies in my time. Couchsurfing.org.
Oh yeah.
I'm a verified member. I've hosted over 200 travelers.
Oh, that's cool. I've always wanted to do something like
that. Yeah.
But I don't have a place.
Have you got a couch?
Yes.
To offer?
Sorry?
Have you got a couch to offer?
I'd probably have to check with my wife about this. But
yeah, I'm not saying that you don't have to.
Yeah. It'd be cool to do it. You'd meet lots of interesting people.
Lots of interesting people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Admittedly, we only ever got the hot females in.
Oh.
Because it was
I'm definitely sure my wife is not going to be down with this.
My mate found his wife. They're all very nice people.
Yeah, right.
and they're not out. They're not out to because every comment on their profile cannot be deleted.
Mm-hmm. So you have a good kind of review system.
Yeah, great review system.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what was I going to say? Yeah, that's how I know that they speak Portuguese in Brazil. What were you saying about Esperanto? There's Monero.
Yeah. So
is that money in Esperanto?
Oh, yeah, coin.
Yeah.
It's coin. But it's a really interesting project as well. Particularly, why it's used a lot in the dark web. You know how Bitcoin transactions.
So Monero is a coin, is it?
Yeah, it's another coin. I think it's trading about $70 US.
Fuck, that's heaps.
Yeah,
that's like probably third in the world.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's definitely. I'm pretty sure it's like in the top 10 of the top 10 cryptos. Actually, there's a website you should check out. Just to get a feel for the cryptos. Coin Gecko.
Yeah, I have actually heard of this.
And there's a few of these different kind of coin sites. And they basically just have like a list by market cap of all the different cryptos.
I think CoinGecko is actually an Australian website, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it might be. Makes sense because geckos.
They're pretty much Australian, aren't they?
I don't know actually. I would have thought they.
I think geckos are only Australian.
Okay. Cool. They're a cool little creature.
So CoinGecko will give you a list of like cryptocurrencies and their values.
Yeah, their values.
I think that's how I know that.
The price charts and their websites.
Yeah.
But Monero, the interesting thing.
Most of them are under $1.
Whoa. Yes, that's true.
To have $80 is quite big.
Yeah, but the reason it's like that is because the market has decided, or the people in the market have decided that is a good project and it's going to be around for a long time. I mean, there's stupid coins as well. Like I think there was one called 42 coin or something. Like there's only ever 42 coins of them in ever, and it's got a ridiculously high price because it's so limited. But obviously, like that is not gonna be used.
It's just mates, isn't it? Just get together and
there's a
make
lot
it
of
a cryptocurrency.
Yeah, there's a lot of people doing that, just like manipulating tokens value. But Monero is interesting because it's untraceable and unlinkable. The transactions, and there's another one as well called.
So it's more anonymous than Bitcoin.
Much more anonymous. It's like, I can explain it a little bit if you want.
Yeah, no, please do.
So there's like a group of people, and each one of their coins are like, they're kind of sitting in different accounts. Like you can imagine having like a pile of 1 cent coins and a pile of 2 cent coins. We don't use 1 cent, 2 cent coins anymore, but just imagine we do.
Yeah, we've still got 1 and 2 cents in our bank account, so.
Yeah. So, but just imagine them as physical coins, right? And then 5 cent coins and 10 cent coins, etc. And then say you're going to send like $120.55 to somebody. What happens is that transaction gets split into 5 cent pieces, 50 cent pieces, $100 pieces, coins, notes, all into the separate denominations. And all of these people have these denominations, and they all kind of go into this transaction. And some of them, because not everybody's actually making the transaction, so those people, they get their coins like sent to another address that they also control. And so on the blockchain, when you look at the transaction, it just looks like all these people, like, because you can choose the amount of people as well. Like say I want 100 people to be a part of this transaction, so it just looks like all these people sending like all these different denominations of coins to each other, but you don't know which one's the real transaction. So that's the way Monero does it. And then there's another one called Zero Cash, and that uses a different technology, which it's called zero knowledge proofs, and I'm not very knowledgeable to explain exactly how it works, but that basically has this magic kind of, it's not magic, but like it has some cryptographic properties that you can do all this stuff inside this kind of container, and so you put the transaction in, the transaction comes out, you can't see what happened, like you can't see the amounts even, or the addresses, but you can prove
It's like private cryptography.
Private cryptography, yeah. That's so you can like prove that the transaction was done correctly.
True.
Like that they didn't make up all these coins out of thin air. You can cryptographically prove that, but you can't actually see what the amounts were, and you can't see which addresses they went to. So there's a few of these different projects, more than just these two. Actually. Privacy coins, they're called. Interesting.
It certainly is interesting, and I'm sure I've got way more questions that I can actually
articulate.
Understand. Yeah, articulate. Yeah. Well, understand to articulate.
Yeah.
I'm not even at the understanding level yet. So.
Yeah, I find it tricky to understand how all this stuff works. I do try to understand it.
I'm going to have to get you back in a couple of months.
Sure, yeah. Once I've researched a bit more deeply. Yeah.
Just once I get my head around a lot of this stuff.
I mean, like, there's an application for the privacy thing in banking, actually. Because you can imagine the banking executives.
Yeah, we just trust the banks.
No, I mean, like, if they were going to implement like some kind of a crypto thing, and they're like, you mean everyone can see everybody's balances, like on a public blockchain?
Yeah.
No, they're not. They're not going to go for that.
Nah, not
so
at all.
These privacy technologies are not just for criminals.
It's not
they're for bankers.
It's a
as well.
centralized ledger rather than a
decentralized.
A distributed ledger.
Yeah, distributed. Yeah. And there's also the centralization and decentralization aspects.
Of cryptocurrency.
Yeah, there's a lot of
so a private crypto coin would be a version of a centralized cryptocurrency.
It depends what you mean private crypto. Yeah, in that sense, like if it's
one software device doing it.
Yeah,
that's a centralization.
It's very centralized.
Yeah.
And a lot of like the kind of media hype that's been talking up like central bank cryptocurrencies. It's just kind of creating all this confusion because cryptocurrencies by nature they're decentralized. Yeah. They're supposed to be open, transparent, like accessible to everybody. Anybody can participate. But like if you've got like a cryptocurrency that's just completely controlled by the established powers that are not going to let anyone else play, then I don't think that deserves to have the cryptocurrency name.
If it's still run via if it's not a distributed ledger, but it's still crypto. But fucking VPNs are crypto, aren't they?
Well,
it's
in one sense, cryptocurrencies have kind of hijacked the cryptography name.
Yeah.
VPNs do use cryptography.
Yeah.
And there are some even cryptocurrencies that are building their platform on offering a VPN, and letting people monetize their their internet connections by running a VPN node and paying them in the cryptocurrency token.
Wow.
But yeah, cryptography is interesting even without all the cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
And it runs the world.
It is.
The banks all use it. Cryptography. Yep. It's an important yet invisible aspect to a lot of our lives.
And helped us win the war. Well,
Yeah.
breaking.
It's true. Did you see that
The movie about the godfather of computers.
Yeah, Alan Turing.
Yeah. I can't remember what the name
Enigma.
of the movie was. Enigma, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I saw that within a week of it coming out.
Nice.
So obviously not at the cinemas. Allegedly. Yeah, Alan Turing is like... I've got a book here. I did electrotechnology at TAFE as part of Motorola. And the first thing they teach you when they talk about transistors is George Boole.
Okay.
Do you know George Boole?
Is he the guy like Boolean?
Boolean, yeah,
Boolean after?
Boolean equations and Boolean Boolean logic.
Cool.
He's the father of logic.
Oh, right.
So, A plus B equals AB. A plus
yeah. I remember.
A plus not B equals A not B.
Yeah.
It's fucking simple, but George Boole lived in the early 1800s.
Wow.
And computers didn't even come around till, well, when was Turing? Turing was in World War II.
Also,
It was like
the work
125 years later.
I think also the work of Claude Shannon contributed a lot to
Claude Shannon?
Yeah, information theory.
Ooh, when was he?
I don't know the year, but he was instrumental in coming up with like binary and computer encoding and decoding information. Information theory.
Shannon.
Claude Shannon, yeah.
Ooh. American mathematical engineer, cryptographer, blah blah blah. No, he was born in 1916. So George Boole predates him by 100 years.
Oh wow.
So George Boole made logic.
Yeah, cool.
Which is the essence of how transistors work.
Awesome.
AND gates, OR gates,
Yep.
NAND gates. That's all contained in logic. I've got introduction to logic, and most of it's just George Boole today.
Awesome. I didn't realise he was the guy behind it. I took a unit in computational logic.
Yeah, you would have learned all about Boolean algebra.
Yeah, that was a really tough unit, I remember.
Yeah. I excelled in it because I was just like, fucking, this guy, 100 years before everyone else. I just went through it. Fucking. I had a really good teacher though.
Awesome. Yeah, that always helps. Having a good teacher.
Mr. Stanley. Yeah, great. Yeah, I've had some great teachers in my life. Yeah, but the introduction of logic is the basis of everything that we're talking about here. It's the basis of this peeking out.
Yeah, being able to store and transmit the analog world
ones and zeros
over the air.
So they talk about our neurons having 3 or up to 5 or 6 connections. So it's going to be a long time before computers can catch up with us. On a molecular level, they have to be really big to beat our human brain so far.
Yeah,
because they're still only working on ones and zeros.
Yeah, and
quantums only work on 3 so far.
All right, I thought
so it's on, off, or miscellaneous.
I thought like the third state was both
miscellaneous.
Yeah,
I've called it miscellaneous. It's hopefully it'll catch on.
But yeah, it's interesting. Like the number of bits.
It's like gender, I think.
Yeah, it's an interesting analogy.
Hopefully I don't get crawled over the coals for that analogy.
No, I think it's pretty valid.
Yeah.
People are gay. Some people are gay. Some people are bi.
It's got nothing to do with gender.
Oh yeah, right. That's no.
Sexuality doesn't have anything to do with gender.
That's a good point.
Yeah. But we're not going to that place in this. Maybe get some more views. So, this was. So I moved back to look after my mum.
Oh, cool.
And this was just like a shed on the back of her house.
Yeah.
And then I put cool room panels all around.
All right.
Made it semi temperature proof first, and then it's almost soundproof.
Yeah, it's really neat setup you got here.
Yeah, it doubles as a bedroom.
Yeah. All right.
My bed's flipped up.
Oh, cool.
I built a flip up bed there.
Look at.
While you're away, I've got this app called Space Launch Now.
Oh, cool.
And it tells you when all the
that seems like a handy one to have.
yeah, it tells you when all the space launches are.
Space launch now.
But see, the first one, it's not supposed to have that one day in front of it. It's supposed to have like an hour and 54 minutes in front of it.
Oh,
not the day.
that's a
They
bit of a
fucking
bug.
scratched it. They scratched the in-flight abort test for tonight.
Oh, so that's tomorrow.
It's now tomorrow.
Okay. Space launch now.
Which is
Tomorrow.
they do this all the time when they're testing. So
Yeah. Find something.
I've watched tests for 8 hours, and then they're like, "Oh no, we're gonna try again tomorrow." It's like, man, I watched you for 8 hours. But I did that for like 4 days in a row.
Oh my god.
Starhopper. SpaceX are building this big new spaceship, Starship.
Yeah.
And their Starhopper, which was like the little version that was just going to go up and do 200 meters and then land again. That was 5 days late.
Wow.
It was successful. I'm really glad it was successful, but you watch it for hours on end. Oh well.
Yeah, space is interesting. I always wanted to get a telescope,
Yeah.
but I haven't yet. It'd be nice.
You can pretty much go online and see any part of the sky you want.
All right.
I haven't done it for a while. I'd have to look up the.
Do you just go to like NASA website or?
There's observatories everywhere that are doing different stuff.
Oh yeah,
at different
search
times.
for observatories.
You could search. So a little telescope will give you a great view of the planets.
Yeah.
But you can look up the planets online and look at the planets right now if you like.
Oh, cool.
Depending on where they are. And
I kind of wanted to get into Astro Photography.
yes, that's
Have you looked on YouTube for any people doing that?
one of my really good friends has got a really good telescope, and it actually like will follow the sky.
Nice. Yeah.
With motors.
Yeah. I checked out some of those.
I've had a couple of nights with her.
Cool.
Having a great time actually. It's good fun.
Yeah, I once
put your phone up to it, or you can put that thing up to it.
I once went to the observatory here. We have in,
up at Bickley.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that was the first time I saw a nebula.
Yeah.
And it was like green.
Yeah, they're all different colours.
I think it was tarantula. That one I saw.
I think we actually saw that one too. The lady I was just talking about, we went up there for her birthday.
Yeah, cool.
It was really cool. The director of Black Ghost is actually Kat Goddard. She's actually a member of it.
Oh, cool.
If you ever wanted to get involved.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, like, unless you've got a really high-powered one, and the really high-powered ones actually have to, like, the distortion in the atmosphere. You
Yeah.
have to try and overcome that. You're only going to see like galaxies or
Right.
nebulas, or you're not going to see into the nebula like Hubble does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be nice if you had access to one of those really big telescopes, though.
Yeah.
Um,
I think you can also access quantum computers online, although I don't really know what I would do with that. But like, if you were into research,
there was an app on the computer I was using for a little bit, and then I found out it was using too much of my my web my bandwidth back at the time, and I couldn't afford it because it wasn't unlimited like it all is now.
Yeah.
But you could assign your as soon as your computer thought that it was not being used, it switched over to giving your computing space to
researchers,
to astronomical research.
Oh, cool! Yeah. Like to find aliens, or
I'm not sure if it was for what's that?
I think there was one project that was trying to find aliens somehow using.
Yeah, it's still going.
Cycle.
But no, this was.
Yeah, it's probably other.
This was just using. It was MIT.
Yeah, cool.
So MIT's got a whole heap of things going on.
Yeah, I think there's also a cryptocurrency. I think it's called Grid, and I think they try to like. Although I might be confusing that with privacy comment. Anyway, the idea is like they try to incentivize people to run their computer, and they get paid in these tokens.
Yep.
But I'm not sure how that's going.
Well, I usually leave my computer running on a lot, and sometimes I'm not here, so it'd be nice to earn money.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me know if you can find it.
Sure.
I do have unlimited internet, so
yeah.
These days, why not? I do know that the Pirate Bay has got a little thingy down the bottom. If you leave their website open, it will start using your CPU as.
Yeah,
I don't know how the fuck they do that, but
it's JavaScript probably. You probably to do with the web assembly language. Because like the browsers were, I think, updated to let websites use your graphics card, so that you can like render 3D scenes in the browser.
Yep.
And I guess they've just repurposed that to crunching numbers.
So World of Warcraft, or what was that first one? It was a web-based sort of World of Warcraft thing. That's probably why they did it.
Like Rune Escape.
Honestly, I can't remember. It was 10 years ago or more.
Yeah, I think Rune Escape was pretty popular 10 years ago. I don't know now.
No, I wouldn't know either.
Do you play any games?
I play a lot of COD.
Oh yeah?
Call of Duty.
Cool.
I like to shoot people.
I
don't like to get into characters and
yeah.
I don't like to get emotionally involved in things.
Yeah, you just like to shoot.
Probably just the same as my real life. Just like to shoot things.
Have you played Fortnite?
And race. No.
Race.
It wouldn't run on my computer for some reason.
I don't know race.
Hmm?
I don't know race.
Racing games.
Racing
Yeah,
games.
like, love motorsport. Yeah. The racing and shooting is what I do.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've played this game on mobile. It's Clash Royale. Have you heard of that?
No. I have heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
It's like a tower defense / attack game. So it's really based on kind of reactions, and it's a bit like chess in terms of strategy. Like well, I don't know if chess is the right comparison because it's like your units kind of march towards their towers, and you've got like 2 queen towers and a king tower, and there's a time limit. Whoever gets the most towers down wins.
I played Boom Beach.
Yeah, it's by the same developer.
Tencent, not Tencent.
Is it by the same developer? Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure Boom Beach did Clash of Clans.
I think they did too. Supercell.
Yeah, Supercell. Clash Royale is one of their newer releases since then. But and then they've since released another one. Which
I did like what was the earliest one on PC? It was like
Age of Empires.
No, it was well before them.
Before Age of Empires? Command and Conquer. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, when that came out, I was like 15 or 14.
I think that was a bit before my time. I think Age of Empires was the first one I really played and got into.
Yeah.
And StarCraft as well. After that, I think.
Yeah, these are all the ones you were naming as after I disappeared from that. So, anything else?
I think I'm good. I think unless you've got any more questions,
I can see how your business would make money.
Yeah, I mean it's I'm basically like kind of being my own bank, but it's very different from a bank business because it's very participatory. Like if you wanted to run like your own bank and also process transactions and get people to delegate to you, although you're kind of competing with me, I would help you, and I would be incentivized for you to do that, and I would want to help you do that.
So say I wanted to start my own program running this and go out and find my own people.
Yeah.
Instead of giving them all to you.
Yeah, you could do that, and
I could be incentivized.
Yeah. The requirement to do that is 8,000 Teslas, which is about $16,000 Australian at current market rates.
So it's about $2 a Tesla, is it?
Yeah. And that changes quite a lot.
Yeah.
It goes up quickly and it goes down quickly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, keep an eye on the price, and when
so I could be shooting myself in the foot by having you on here.
Yeah, maybe.
No, this is all education for me, so I'm happy to.
It's still so early days as well. Like it's going to be volatile for the next few years. Like, I expect it could come back crashing down. You just got to not get too attached to the price.
So smart contracts, I don't think are going away.
I don't think they're going away.
I don't think smart contracts are going away.
Yeah.
I'm seeing more and more and more companies having to rely on smart contracting.
Yeah.
It's an exploding business. Like Flux is all about smart contracts.
Yeah, automating the structures.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, you take out the human element, and there's less uncertainty and there's less mistakes.
Less chance of corruption.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's never going to be a silver bullet. There's always going to be
there's always going to be something
unforeseen. And smart contracts have bugs. Like Ethereum has had a few cases of serious bugs, leading to there were some funds that just kind of got completely lost forever.
Yeah.
Because there was a bug. But one of the things that Tezos has is formal verification. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's
I know in computer chips, like in RAM.
Yes.
Like my computer doesn't have it, but a commercial computer has a checking chip.
Yeah, and that was one of the use cases for formal verification because hardware's expensive.
Yeah.
And you don't want to stuff it up once you've like put it on the circuit board. So those checks, like formally verifying that, like the logic stuff we were talking about before, that everything is going to work as it was supposed to.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that Tezos has, and sorry, that's my speaker
right.
turning off.
We'll turn it back on in a little bit, and you can dial us out.
Sure. Assuming
so
it hasn't run out of
the
battery.
checking mechanism.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, Tezos is quite special in that. It's one of the only. I think Facebook, you know how they're coming out with their own coin.
What was that called?
Libra.
Yep.
Competing with the Winklevoss's Gemini. You heard of the Winklevoss twins? Have you seen the social media, the Social Network movie?
Yes.
About Facebook.
Yeah, I did see Social Network.
Yeah, so the Winklevi twins.
Well, they're the guys that created Facebook and he stole it off.
Yeah. And they were portrayed quite negatively.
The guys from MIT, yeah.
But actually, like, they're really good guys, and they've also been quite active in the Bitcoin space from early on.
Because Social Network was like sort of funded by Facebook, wasn't it? To get a good.
Oh no! I don't think. I think Mark Zuckerberg really didn't like the movie, the way he was portrayed. He was very scared that he was going to be remembered like that, as that guy. But I think after a while he kind of got used to it, and it played well for Facebook. But Libra is obviously, like, he still hasn't given up on trying to compete with these twins. So
the Winklevoss twins have come out with.
Well, they're trying to work on like a investment product so that investors will be able to easily get into Bitcoin through their fund, and they probably get fees for that.
Sort of like the Cash App.
I think it's more like for institutional investors.
Apparently, the Cash App, you can buy and sell Bitcoin instantaneously for no dollars.
Like no commission fee?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
This is what I've heard just from Joe Rogan.
Yeah. I think was it the Cash App was the Twitter guys?
Yeah, it's Square.
Jack Dorsey was?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Square, yeah, that's right, yeah.
The company Square runs it. Yeah, which is an offshoot of Jack Dorsey.
Yeah, yeah.
So they'd fired Jack Dorsey from Twitter. He's like, "Oh, fuck you. I'm going to go start Square," allegedly.
All right.
And then they invited him back once Twitter started going shit.
Ah.
But he still doesn't have full say. So.
Is that right?
Of Twitter. Yeah. But he is, yeah. They had Jack Dorsey went on Joe Rogan, and then there was all these people complaining that he didn't ask the right questions.
Oh.
So Joe Rogan got one of his mates on who was very vocal, and apparently that guy is an investor in Square. Yeah. Just something.
Cool. So yeah, what I was saying about the Facebook Libra project is that I think they're working on formal verification in their code language, but yeah, it's I think that's kind of like this still in the testing stage.
I think there was an SEC thing that came out the other day that it was probably a politician, an American politician, going, "Oh, I don't think there's enough interest in Libra at the moment for it to be viable."
Yep.
But is probably just a paid politician paid by a big bank to say that.
I'm sure there'd be huge interest in I think people, although I'm skeptical. I was reading about it. They don't actually pay any interest on the funds.
Okay.
And that's because.
Well, if it's not, remember we were talking about banks being how they
Fractional?
can lend,
Yeah.
because it's not a fractional dividend.
Yeah.
There's no interest that can be paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But obviously, like, if they're going to have people's money, they're going to earn the interest themselves. And they say they're going to basically use that to keep the system going, to fund the system.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I'm just a
They'd
bit
have to keep buying into the system themselves.
Yeah, and that's what they're
that.
doing. They're going to back up the system with their funds as well.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be like very over collateralized. But I'm a little bit skeptical that people will like choose the option that doesn't give them a return, because people, I think we're kind of being conditioned to expect a return.
Yeah, fucking oath. If we're going to do something,
Yeah,
you get paid for it.
yeah. It's like, what's in it for me? Why should I bother doing this? And that's why banks are all offering like percentage rates.
Facebook can't turn around and go, okay, any transaction on Facebook is only going to be done in Libra. They can't do that.
I mean, they could, but whether people will use it.
No, the American federal government will just break them up.
Yeah, I mean that is a serious risk.
That's monopolization.
Yeah,
that's not anything. The Australian government won't stand for that.
Yeah, it's
the
become
ACCC
too
will
big.
Just go, flick.
Yeah, it's become too big.
Here's $1 billion fine.
Yeah, I suppose they can.
Yeah, they will.
Can do that.
They will.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they start monopolising any financial system, anyone will do. They will all do that.
Yeah, one of the clever things
that's why there's 4 big banks, not just 2.
All right. Oh, that's true. Yeah, like
otherwise they would have bought each other out by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Commonwealth Bank would have bought them all out.
Right.
But they can't.
One of the interesting things that the Tezos Foundation did was when they when they started it, they offered the initial tokens as like kind of in kind. They raised funds kind of like as donations. And so when people got the Tezos tokens, it's basically like they avoided getting sued by the SEC for raising funds
without a business.
Yeah, like because they're not actually like
paying tax.
Well, I'm not 100% sure how it's all structured.
Yeah.
But so far they've avoided litigation because the thing that they're selling is not like there's no expectation that that's going to give anyone a return. It's just kind of used as this utility token to run the smart contracts, and so I think that's pretty clever how they've structured it, like not as a company, like they've actually just got a foundation, and then everybody's acting independently, and nobody has control over the software. It's all open source, so yeah, it's quite different to the Facebook Libra, even though that
centralization
is also open source. But yeah,
doesn't sound like Facebook.
Yeah, I know, but and this just came to my attention recently. But like, there's a test net. You can look at the code and you can use it. You can fork it, and build your own Libra, I guess. But I mean, the network effect of Facebook is that if you make it better, then Facebook are just gonna implement it, and because they've got the
Yeah,
network.
They're going to take your ideas and like they do,
Yeah.
they have done. I know that Facebook used to listen into my messages to my various admins for the different
Really?
pages around the world, because within a week I would have that option.
What option?
Various options. It was freakily scary, because the pages I was running, there was no one else like us.
Yeah.
I would the conversations I was having to my other admins, within a week sometimes, I would actually have that option. Whether it was to
like,
look at stuff or to,
like
I wanted to.
you were talking with the other admins about for the page.
I didn't want to block this guy. I wanted to snooze him for 30 days or something like that, and then within a week or a month,
yeah, right,
I would have that option. It's like they're fucking listening.
they're copying
listening.
your ideas.
Yeah, copying my ideas. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I believe that. Like, if it only happened a couple of times, but it happened consistently over like fucking 10 years.
Yeah, and there's just no compensation. I was a Kickstarter backer of the Oculus Rift.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then of course Facebook bought them like $1 billion.
$1 billion?
Yeah.
What'd you get out of it?
I got a development kit.
I suppose that was all that was in your contract, wasn't it?
Probably. That was all I expected, but it would have been good to benefit from that early investment.
So did you get a actual Oculus Rift?
Yeah, it's just like
the early one?
Low res. It's the first development kit, so it's really low res. It's kind of like, you remember the first color televisions, and you can look close at the screen and you can see like the red, green, blue. So it's kind
even
of
the
like
Sony ones are like that.
Yeah, actually, it's the resolution's difficult to get good. It's improved, but it's a difficult. I'm still not so. I think AR is probably going to be a more interesting tech.
Well, I think that they're going to miniaturize it to the point with all these OLEDs and organic LED.
Like contact lenses.
No, just to be glasses.
Yeah.
Panasonic have recently brought out a glass. It's no bigger than glasses. It's probably like that thick.
Oh, cool.
But it does look like them.
Oh, wicked.
That came out this week.
Like groovy sunglasses.
Yeah, well they look very similar, but just like with a thing about that big on it.
And projects it onto the from the side.
Those things are scary. There was one that actually projects it onto your lens, like your lens.
Oh my god.
I don't know if these Panasonic ones are like that. I only just saw a photo of them on Facebook. Like, this is the new thing that Panasonic's brought out, and I was like, yeah, well, that's much better than the Sony ones. Like the Sony ones are just like they fit on you, and you have to do that thing. The other day I was wearing them. I was just doing the shooting game where and it actually had an error. I was like, oh, that broke my brain. It felt like it broke my brain. I told Wes, my guitarist, later, and he's like, yeah, that's really weird, isn't it, when it happens, when the program shuts down? It's like, oh, okay.
Crashes.
Well, you're standing up and you feel like you're going to fall over.
Yeah, motion sickness is a difficult problem to solve.
But it just it throws you, it just leaves you in the lurch and you don't know where you are. And
yeah.
They'll get better.
Yeah, technology improves.
Elon Musk reckons that one day VR will be indistinguishable. He's been right about everything else.
There's a VR thing on at Fringe at the moment.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I just kind of walked past it last night, and I don't know if it's going to be any
Go
good
for a
or not.
late night walk in Northbridge, did you?
No, we went to this other comedy night, comedy event. I can't remember the guy's name, but yeah, it was a bit painful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tell me later. He's probably one of my friends.
yeah.
Well, you've really fucked my brain up, and
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to. It's hard to think straight at the moment with all this.
It's a lot to process.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be.
Yeah.
I got some notes here. I'll do a video of me actually signing up to
Oh,
your Tezos thing later on.
that'd be cool.
With my whole $20,
Yeah.
and we'll see how we go.
Awesome. Yeah, the Trust wallet. I mean, probably start with downloading the Trust wallet, because that's like that kind of makes it real. Like, you get a wallet, you get the words. It's like there's a process to follow.
Can I buy Bitcoin from the Trust wallet, or do I have to go?
There might be an option. I'm not sure, but if there is an option, I would try to avoid it, because it's probably gonna be more. They'll be ripping you off.
Cool. So buy my Bitcoin from independentreserve.com.
Yeah, you get and you can choose the price then in independent reserve. You can choose like to pay a bit lower, and hopefully someone will sell the coins and you get a better price.
If I don't care about when I get it, that's about it. Like, if I want the transaction right now, it's a higher price.
Yeah, that's right.
And if I put it out to tender, basically what that is, right?
Well,
in a time sense,
it's I mean, it's called a limit order, so because you're setting a limit price.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe putting it out to tender is what it's called.
Oh, it's just going out from because when you put something out to tender, you don't really care when.
Yeah, if it matches or not.
Usually that's a 5-year fucking contract.
All right.
And the tender is a year away.
Yeah.
So if a company can come up with the best price within a year, that's what the tender process is.
Yeah. It's similar, just on a probably more shorter time frame.
Yeah. But you give your intention to buy.
Yeah.
And then someone takes it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tender process.
Yeah.
And then I get the iTrust wallet.
Just Trust wallet.
Sorry, Trust wallet.
Yep.
So I put a number 1 next to it. And then from then I can buy Tezos.
Once you have the Bitcoin, signing up to Independent Reserve and Kraken might take a few days, because they're going to ask for your ID.
Yep.
It's kind of like signing up with a bank.
Yep.
They need
100 points of ID and shit.
Yeah. It's usually pretty straightforward, but it just takes a day or so. So usually, download the Trust Wallet app, get verified on the 2 exchanges, Independent Reserve, Kraken. Once you've done that, in the next few days, you'll be able to complete getting the Bitcoin, the Tezos, then sending the Tezos to your Trust wallet, and then making the delegation.
Okay, so Tezos is a Tezos Trust Tezos wallet.
Well, Trust is a wallet, and they support.
But it does support Tezos. Oh, many does it?
Yeah, so it supports Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tezos, a few other coins.
Yep.
But why I recommend Trust wallet is one, it's open source, and 2, there's an option in there which makes it easier to delegate. Instead of having to copy paste an address, you can just choose from the list money every 3 days. That's there.
That's in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and so that's easier than having to copy. You can add like an address if you just copy paste, but it's pretty easy to find me there.
Yeah, cool. No doubt I'll be on the phone to you if I have any problems.
Yeah, definitely. Don't hesitate to give me a call if you get stuck.
Did you want to take us out on the
Sure, yeah.
on the synth? Is this how you turn it on?
No, it's a bit old school, this one. Yes, still has battery. Nice bird sounds there. Oh, I lost it.
Battery.
I think it's dead.
Thank you very much for coming and blowing my fucking mind, man.
You're welcome, anytime.
Oh, I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep well tonight. Hopefully everyone else out there's got something useful out of it too. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to have a go.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Dreaming of alien spaceships tonight.
Yeah. Leo Treasure, everyone, from moneyevery3days.com.